Well, GWAR just put out a new song called Motherfucking Liar. It's a single off their upcoming album, The New Dark Ages. This is a little like the Blood of Gods having Fuck This Place as a single. Gotta have one of the first songs released be one with fuck in the title. My kind of band. Don't you love GWAR? I really love GWAR. It's a short and simple song at only 3 minutes and 12 seconds. It's easy to remember the words and the parts. In fact, when the second chorus came on, I was mouthing it with him. A sign of success. The song starts off with the chorus. Burn, burn, set it on fire. One thing I hate is a motherfucking liar. Establishing itself with confidence. The next few seconds are at halftime, but it picks up at the tempo you initially predicted at the start. It slows down for the guitar solo about 1 minute and 50 seconds in. You've got clean guitars under the lead solo, which is interesting for GWAR because usually they like to keep it at 11, even for guitar solos. This song does seem to let the instruments shine, as evident by the temporary drum breaks. I like that guitar tone and I like the drum sounds. It gives me hope for how the rest of the album's gonna sound. Overall, Motherfucking Liar sounds like a classic metal song. Now it just needs some gang vocals. Maybe it takes itself a little more seriously than I expect from GWAR. I mean, there's nothing humorous here, but it is a barn burner. Violence Has Arrived and Battle Maximus were pretty serious records, so maybe this album will be like those albums, where there's still fantasy elements backdropped against some elephant-ass heaviness. A big criticism people have of Blothar is his vocal range. I find Blothar's range being put to better use here than on anything on Blood of Gods. Perhaps it's a sign of the band being acutely aware of what people say about them. In any case, he does well here, and so does the rest of the band. They all do well. The New Dark Ages will be the second GWAR album they've done without Odorous Urungus. Odorous brought the plague to Europe, smashed the Great Wall of China, put nukes in the hands of everyone's enemies, and brought music out of the fucking Stone Age! Dave Brockie was a personal hero of mine. Without indulging celebrity worship too much, he was an inspiration. His creativity, his blunt approach to things, his willingness to experiment, the man was a legend. When The Blood of Gods came out, it was natural for everyone to want to compare it to everything they did with Dave. It was the first album they did without him, so how would losing such a monumental member affect GWAR? Well, the song structures, characters, styles, some of the humor, and some of the overarching storylines were there. It was GWAR on paper, but it felt transitional, as if they weren't totally comfortable yet with what they were doing. Also, some of the shock factor and some of the humor was missing. Considering their Linkin Park jokes on Warped Tour that year, I don't think it's a ramification to being in a hypersensitive culture. Not to mention, Battle Maximus was a pretty serious album and Dave was still around. I suppose that after singing about evil dinosaurs, crack boulders, and kidnapping children for so long, it becomes hard to come up with edgy stuff after a while. The Blood of Gods may not have had Dave, but it was still better than Carnival of Chaos and We Kill Everything. They're goofy, tired, dated albums that sound like a band grasping for ideas and going through the motions. I listened to those albums, and it's quite obvious that they were in some serious need of vacation time. At least The Blood of Gods had a sense of purpose and enjoyment. But despite the issues with The Blood of Gods, I've always predicted that the second album without Dave would be better. They'd be more comfortable, and they'd be able to gauge the expectations of GWAR fans given the current band situation. Most importantly, now they don't have the burden of having to produce the first album after Dave. That was always going to be the hardest, no matter how good the album was. You know, I think GWAR can be like AC/DC, who handled their giant transition to a new singer as well as they did. Some people prefer Bon Scott, some people prefer Brian Johnson, but AC/DC fans have always warmly embraced Brian Johnson, because like Blothar, Brian never tried to replace the guy that came before him. He's his own singer. At worst, GWAR could end up like the Misfits. Jerry takes over the band with lacking charisma as a frontman and a songwriter. They make albums and nobody likes them. So, here with the New Dark Ages, we can have a more definitive answer to how GWAR will hold up. They've always been a great live band, even with Blothar. Will the albums be good? Will the era without Odorous stand on its own in the test of time? We'll see.